extent and used it in hair technology. I once had over 20 hair transplant clinics around the world, and at that time we used PRP with red light, photobiomodulation, and I'll come back to that. This is a picture of me in Mumbai in 2012, and they had pictures of me from 2007 in a car park, because we had introduced FUA hair transplant to India that time. That's 20 years ago, and that was the first time. And when we did that back in 2007, the first papers on PRP in hair are 3 years later, in 2010. So we did that, and we won a lot of awards for that. We scaled this up, put it around the world, and now people use PRP hair as normal. But I only mention it because everybody will be doing exosomes in hair, secretomes in hair. Trust me, hair is very easy. If you just roll a derma roller over it, hair will grow. Skin is very easy. If you fall and cut yourself and do nothing, it heals itself. Vaginas are very easy because you've only to hit them with RF or whatever, and suddenly you lose stress incontinence. So when we're talking about regenerative medicine, we're really not talking about the simple stuff. We want to prevent your pancreas from getting cancer. We want to prevent people from getting heart attacks. But most of all, we want to prevent the brain from having inflammation. We don't want everybody living longer and going into nursing homes with Alzheimer's for the rest of their life. So we've got to stand back from all the enthusiasm and look at what I'll deal with later, which is the pathways of aging. You cannot take exosomes or secretomes or cytokinins or PRP and give them to somebody and expect them to live longer. That's not what they are. They're just signal messengers. They're just telling the body what to do. So if I was to take something like Cape Town, let's say politicians in Cape Town, and the politicians say, we're going to do this. Just because they say it doesn't mean it's going to happen. You have different areas of Cape Town, a town that I used to live in. You've got the waterfront, which is white middle class. You've got Mitchell Plains, which is black working class. So you can't apply the same two things to them. You've got corruption. That's like chronic inflammation. You've got day and night. The kids come out and they destroy the city at night time. That's like epigenetic engineering, circadian rhythm. So just because somebody says something, which is the exosomes, the signal messengers, the secretomes, doesn't mean it's going to happen. And that's a mistake we've got to get over. Somebody asked me to include this. This is the stem cells we used. In the early stages, I certainly used stem cells from adipose tissue, but then we switched over to this. One of the big things we did was actively include very early on red light. This is really important, and I know I've only 30 minutes, so I'm going to rush through this. This is one of the techniques that we came up with that we won awards for. That was the plus technique with PRP, stem cells, and red light. And what I want to do is get to this, how red light works. Could we have volume with that, please?
If mitochondrial function can be reactivated, the intrinsic capacity for tissue repair may follow. Several years ago, Dr. Patrick Treacy initiated exploratory work combining red light photobiomodulation with platelet-rich plasma and stem cell-based approaches in the management of burn injuries and tissue ischemia following vascular occlusion. The aim was to enhance mitochondrial activity, improve local perfusion, and support regenerative processes in compromised tissue. At the cellular level, mitochondria function as the primary engines of bioenergetics. Within the mitochondrial matrix, metabolic substrates enter the Krebs cycle, generating NADH and FADH2. These molecules donate electrons to the electron transport chain, driving oxidative phosphorylation and the production of ATP. A key regulatory component within
this is really important.
Nitric oxide, a small gaseous signaling molecule.
This is nitrous oxide, where it attaches. Red light releases it, and as a consequence, oxygen will combine 20 times more.
Reducing oxygen
Now, I know I'm short time, so I'm going to skip through this. Just to be aware, we know now how red light works. We didn't then. The Krebs cycle, which you know from your biochemistry, releases 2 units of energy. If you put red light on it, it releases 36, just to be aware. Oxygen is released up to 20 times more into the tissues